Alright, welcome back to again. Last time, we met a grumpy detective who is very territorial about his cases, which is, very stupid, but whatever. He finally relented and is gonna let us get some information from their forensics, and the forensics turns out to be a friend of Kate, our partner, so that's cool. We tracked down the witness who had contradictory things to say, and we're gonna come back to him later. But right now, we're at the house of the detective from the first Sam Coolidge murder, and now we're gonna talk to him about it and see what he remembers, even though he's not super happy with the FBI either. So, we'll see how this goes. Okay, about the first discoverer of the body. You mean Alfred Brown? He was our primary suspect at first, but he had a legitimate alibi. And once the next Providence murder went down, we let him off the hook. Real serious type, that guy. Kind of softy, too. And memory serves me, he had a kid who was a little on the frail side. Alright, got the victim. Sam Coolidge was the biggest blowout out of his friends. Seems he got involved in some illegal gambling activities, but nothing to get killed over. The guy was always short on money, which drove him to drink. Nobody would have killed him for money, that's for sure. Huh. Situation of Sam Coolidge's murder. Happened pretty much as written in the police report. The victim was working late and went out for a smoke. His coworker Brown got a little worried when we didn't come back and started looking around for the building. Eventually he found the body in that vacant hotel room. We never found a murder weapon, but he died of a single blow. The victim's body was facing upward when found. It looked like he was sleeping. So he was lying on his back, facing the ceiling. That's right. Well then. Do we have anything to show you? Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I can show you the case file, I guess, sure. What do you guys say about that? So that's the file of the police report from 19 years ago. Is that all you have to say? Okay. We could get going now, but we might need your help again. Fine by me. Pretty weird. The ranger didn't match up about which way the body was facing. What would the guy who found the body say it was face down, and the detectives say face up? You think one of them is lying? Yeah, probably. I don't know. Let's look into it tomorrow. Okay. Oh. Okay, good night then. I don't want to save. Saving's for losers. I don't care. I'm not saving. Anyway, March 7th, day 2. I had that same dream again. In the room of that house. Crouched on the floor alone. There I am holding my knees and crying. Then I hear Danny's voice from somewhere. Jay, Jay. Young voice calling me. Wipe my eyes and stand up to look for him. But I don't see him anywhere. Danny, Danny. That's when I always wake up, when I cry out for him. Sounds great. Morning, Jay. How are you feeling? Sorry for worrying you like that yesterday. I'm fine now. I hope so. Someone's been bugging me, though. What is it? After you collapsed at Hotel Miranda and went to the hospital, you were muttering something before you gained consciousness. It was like, what was that? What was I seeing? Huh. Jay, I'm your partner, so tell me straight. Did you see something at Hotel Miranda? Okay, I don't want to tell you, because if I tell you, you'll think I'm crazy. I'm not sure you'd believe me if I told you. Try me. It's like I saw that room in the past. What do you mean? That's what it must have been. Was that room how it once was back then? You want to tell me in plain English now? When I walked into the room 315, a little before you got there, I felt a chill up my spine. Right after that, I found an envelope on the floor. There was a dollar bill cut out inside. Right, an eye of Providence. You had it clenched in your right hand when I found you unconscious. You had it clenched in your right hand when I found you unconscious. As soon as I touched the eye of Providence, some kind of vision just shot into my mind. Vision? Like what? Like what I just said. Like it was a different view of the room I was in, right there in my mind. But those bloody letters weren't in my vision in the room. So this vision you had, it could have been a view of the very same room, just in the past. That had to be it. Oh my gosh. So you're saying you saw this vision of the past right before you when you fell unconscious? It's weird, I know. I have no idea why it happened. But I definitely saw the past in that room. I know you wouldn't lie to me, Jay. But seeing the past? How do you expect me to believe that? So what do you think about what happened to you? You think it just happened, or you think you have some kind of special ability? Which do you think it is? I mean, it's probably a special ability because, like, I mean, if you take it out of the story, I mean, it's a video game, you know, and there was clearly tutorials for how this is gonna work. But if you take it away from that, I mean, he saw the past. Clearly, it was the past because he interacted with stuff, and then he saw a vision. He's psychic or something. He can see the past. It's an ability. I think I might have always had this ability. I mean, I was surprised by the visions, but I was kind of expecting something like this to happen. It was just like deja vu. But if I could always do this, then where did this power come from? Hey, you alright? Come on, maybe you're just thinking like this because of the shock from fainting. But it's a fact. There was no doubt in my mind that I saw a vision of the past. So you saw the past when you touched the Eye of Providence. Okay, answer me this, Jay. Have you ever seen visions of the past before that? No way, that was a definite first. But that awful feeling I got when I first went into the room, I felt that lots of times. When? when I was a kid. I get the same kind of throbbing headache. And get a glimpse of the past? That's just it. I don't remember what happened after that. But I remember my dad's answer when I told him about it. Don't worry, Jay. Your sins are just a little different than those of other people. Different? Have you talked to your dad about what happened yesterday? Not yet. Well, maybe your dad knows something about this. Maybe he could tell you why you saw the past in that room. Maybe. Oh, crap! We gotta report to the boss about yesterday's investigation. He called to remind me before you came in. Let's go see Henry in his office. Hey, keep this whole vision thing between you and me for now. Of course. You'd think I was nuts if I told him about it anyway. How's the investigation coming along? We questioned 2 people involved in the Sam Coolidge murder. Oh yeah? Who'd you talk to? Alfred Brown, the man who found the body, and Philip Robbins, the detective in charge back then. Philip Robbins, huh? Haven't heard that name in years. How's he doing these days? Seemed like he was doing well. After I talked to those guys, something didn't add up. Let's hear about it. The testimonies about how the body was found contradicted each other. Detective Robbins was consistent with the CPD file, but Alfred Brown, the guy who found the body, had a different story. Maybe he just has a fuzzy memory of the whole thing, since it was so long ago? But I'd like to press him a little more on that point. Absolutely. Check every angle. Yes, sir. By the way, Jay, you ever heard of a Professor Gordon out of Clockford University? Sure. In fact, Dr. Gordon was one of my professors. I learned a hell of a lot about criminal psychology about his lectures. Dr. Gordon also worked as an assistant for my dad before he passed away. I'll be damned. Apparently, Professor Gordon was appointed as an advisor to the police, specifically for the Kevin Cornell homicide that just took place at the Libertine. Gordon's a true pro. His advice has helped the police crack a bunch of cases over the years. So, Jay, why do you think they made Gordon an advisor for this case in particular? I guess the police think Providence is back in action, too. That's what's going on? Apparently so. I'd like you to go pay a visit to Gordon. A good doctor might have something interesting to say about this. You got it, boss. That's our report for the day. We better get back out to the field now. Yeah, go get me some answers. I'm counting on you two. Yes, sir. Hold on a second, Jerry. When Henry asked you about Professor Gordon, you said something like, before our dad passed away. So your father... My real father died when I was a kid. The man who raised me after the incident was close friends with my natural father. Since he didn't have any other family, he took me in and raised me as his own. Oh... Frederick Weaver is the man who raised me. He's a professor of child psychology. Who told you that your senses were different? I mean, which father? My dad now, the one who adopted me. You know what? There's someone I'd like to drop by before we start today. Let me guess, your dad's place. How'd you guess? You can go to Professor Weaver's home now. And that's it. Nowhere else. Just there. Alright, let's go. I guess... Oh, we can... We could skip the Clockwork University, which I guess is where Professor Gordon would be, because, you know, professor and all. But it didn't flag that I could go there, just to Jay's house. Okay, whatever. But we'll go there, sure. Does this count as investigating? I don't know. This is my dad's place. So you grew up here, huh? You took me in when I was 13. Come on in, I'll introduce you. Hey there! Hey Dad, how's things? Oh, just fine. Kate, this is my dad. Nice to meet you, Kate. I'm Frederick Weaver. He's very smiley, look at him. He's a professor of child psychology and Jay's adoptive father, and he's 56. Great. Frederick Weaver is my adopted father. He's a professor of child psychology at Clockwork U. He and my real father were close friends, but he never had any kids of his own. He took me in when my parents died. My adoptive father has always been good to me. I have a deep respect for him. As you should. So nice to meet you. I'm Kate Hathaway. Kate and I are working on an investigation together. Is that right? I hope you're keeping him out in trouble, Kate. You seem just as busy as usual, Jay. I am. We're in the middle of a serious case here. We just reopened an unsolved case from 19 years ago. Oh no. Don't tell me that's what I think it is, Jay. You got it. The Providence murders. I don't believe this. There was a murder at the Libertine Hotel yesterday. It was set up just like one of the Providence murders. Right before the murder, there was a letter sent to the Clockwork Times. It was addressed to me. It told me to go back to where the very first murder took place. And then what? Well, I went. There was a message written on the wall in the red paint, made to look like blood. So the tragedy from 19 years ago was about to happen again. Oh god. And I have Providence cut out was in the room too. Let it go, Jay. Leave this one alone and take something else. Anything else. Dad. Why do you say that, sir? Hasn't he told you, Kate? Jay is the sole survivor of the Providence murders. Oh. His parents were killed by that maniac. Oh my god. Is that true, Jay? Yeah. It was the last murder Providence committed back then. Professor Baker studied criminal psychology, and his wife were the victims. Luckily, Jay managed to survive that nightmare. He lost his family and was severely wounded. He was sure to make the hospital stay. I raised him after that. I know he's been emotionally scarred by this whole thing. Come on, Dad. I never felt right about you getting into the FBI. Thought that someday you just might go after the guy who killed your family. Listen to me, son. The Providence investigation is not the way to go. If you dig too deep, I'm afraid you might end up digging your own grave. Something bizarre already happened. What? Tell me about it, Jay. When we went to that hotel room, I touched the eye. I know this is weird, but I saw the past. I saw that room as it was in the past. What? You saw the past? I couldn't believe it when he told me either. He said it's the first time he's ever seen anything like that. But when he was a boy, he experienced a similar feeling. And when he told you about it back then, he said something like, his senses were a little different than those of others. Yeah, I said that alright. Tell us more, Dad. Tell us everything you know. Talk to me, Dad. What have you got for me? What feels different? What did you mean when you said my senses were a little different? Jay, about the seeing the past thing. You've done it before. What? That happened right after you got out of the hospital and started living here with me. I took you to an old cottage on the lake once. It was empty, but as soon as you set foot in that place, you pointed to the window and said, Dad, there's somebody standing by the window, crying. Then you complained of a headache and passed out. When you came to, it was like you forgot it ever happened. Later I found out there was an incident at our cottage several years before. Someone was brutally murdered right by that very window. This is too weird. You said those visions several times, and afterwards you'd get a headache and pass out. Then you'd come to and it was like nothing ever happened. So he's had this power to see the past all along. I'm not sure what it all means, or why he was even given such an ability. The one thing I know for certain is that Jay has a significant connection to the Providence murders. About the investigations of the Providence murders. Dad, why don't you want me investigating the Providence murders? I worry about you, Jay. If you get involved in those cases again, I'm afraid something might happen. When your real dad was killed, I thought he was the last Providence the last Providence was after. After I gave him a dangerous job, you know. They put him in charge of profiling Providence. But when Baker was killed and his house was set on fire, all the data went up in flames. After that, the profiling was just put on hold. That's why I worry about you, son. You look back into Providence, you will kill again. I mean, he's probably gonna kill again anyway, based on, you know, just general, so... really don't have a choice. Anyway, let's get out of here. I understand how you feel. But if my real dad was the last one on Providence's hit list... My real dad was the last one on Providence's hit list, like you say. Then I have no reason to be afraid of him. If yesterday's murder was the work of Providence, then no one can stop me from bringing him to justice. Alright, Jay. Seems you've grown into a stubborn man. Yeah, I guess so. Plan to use your visions for this case? If I can figure out how to control them, absolutely. Very well. If you got your mind set on this, there's something I want to give you. Hold on a second. Here. Why do you have this? An Eye of Providence. I found that in your father's office. After his death. But it's not criminal evidence. Baker cut it out himself to get an image of Providence. I want you to take it on your investigation for the same reason, okay? I appreciate this. I got an Eye of Providence. How did you feel when you touched that eye, Jay? Can anything happen? Nothing. There's no visions when touching the eye in this particular room. Mr. Weaver, weren't you just saying that when Jay was a boy, there was an incident in a room and he saw the past then? That's right. When Jay was younger, he'd have visions when he was in places where something happened. So visions of the past might only be triggered in places where some sort of crime went down. Kate, I want to go check out the room 315 in Hotel Miranda one more time. Let's go. Really appreciate this, Dad. You've helped us a lot. It's gonna be tough, Jay, but you're old enough to make your own choices. Thanks, Dad. Leaving for a child psychology conference tomorrow, so I'll be gone a while. I'll call you when I get back. Let's get dinner when you're back. Sounds like a plan. Great. Better get going now. It was nice meeting you, sir. Okay, we can go to Hotel Miranda again. But, let's go check Clockwood University first and meet, this Professor Gordon, who is helping the police with their investigation into the new murder. We're just switching between new and old, new and old. This is your alma mater. Yeah, Hugo and I went here together. You spent your prime on this campus, didn't you? What were you like back then? A bookworm, I guess. Really? Yeah, but we're not here to talk about me. We gotta find Dr. Gordon. Fine. Well, if it isn't Jay. Dr. Gordon, long time no see. Looks like you're doing well. And who's your friend? Nice to meet you, sir. I'm Kate Hathaway. I work in the Special Crime Squad with Jay. It's a pleasure to meet you, Kate. I'm Edward Gordon. Huh. Edward Gordon, he's 43. He's a professor of criminal psychology. He is a former assistant to Jay's late father, Professor Nicholas Baker. Why he had to put his whole name in there, I don't know. Also, you missed one. He was Jay's professor specifically, not just being just a general criminal psychology professor. You missed one. You're supposed to give me information that I probably already know, but you missed a little bit. I'm disappointed. It'll probably get me into this anyway, so it's fine. Dr. Edward Gordon was a mentor to me in college and my late dad's assistant. He's an authority on criminal psychology. He's done a lot of research on what drives criminals to do what they do. My choice to become an FBI agent had a lot to do with his influence on me. What can I do for you? My boss tells me you're working as an advisor for the police. The FBI doesn't miss a trick. That's right. I'm helping out on the Kevin Cornell murder case. The police are worried that the similarities between this murder and the unsolved Providence cases means it's likely Providence is back. We agree with the police on that point. We actually reopened the investigation from 19 years ago. Really? Have you corroborated evidence to link this crime with the past? Nothing concrete, but we have a pretty good hunch that this recent murder was definitely Providence. A hunch? Come on now, Jay. Try to keep your emotions out of it. But that deduction itself is entirely reasonable. Dr. Gordon, just before Kevin Cornell was murdered, there was a letter sent to the newspaper addressed to the FBI warning of the crime. It parallels a letter that was sent just like that 19 years ago. The letter was addressed specifically to Jay. It told him to go to the scene of the first Providence murder, 19 years ago. The location of this homicide was Hotel Miranda, room 315. Did he go there? Yes. There's a message written on this wall in red paint, made it look like blood. Jay, remember that tragedy 19 years ago? It's about to happen all over again. Interesting. Anaya Providence was in the room too. So you suspect the perpetrator is somehow related to Providence? Right. I'd like to hear your view of the situation. Alright. Now that we've gotten here and met, or, well, I mean, we're meeting him. Jay knows him already. Now that we've met Dr. Gordon, next time we come back, we'll talk to Gordon for one, and then we'll probably head back to the scene to see what we can do with these fancy visions of the past power. See what we can do with that. See what it leads. See where it gets us. All that stuff. All right. So, till next time.